Yesterday I did a video about feeding citrus to worms and how the warning not to do so is pretty inaccurate. Not only does it not harm them, but they are a big fan. Okay guys, I don't think I need your help for this video. Anyway, I ended the video by saying we would check back in 3 days to see if there was any activity or worms activity on the clementines. I cut a fresh clementine in half. It hadn't been frozen and hadn't been damaged in any way. You can look at yesterday's video. And I put one half face down in each of these 2 worm factories. Right now I have one full tray on each one, just for the purpose of doing this video and a few others. Now, just a reminder, there is a nicely ripened avocado and a pear in each one of these. So they're not going to go to the clementine out of desperation. It's certainly not their only food choice. So if they are there, and I'm sure they're going to be because I've done this before, they're there because they like it as much as or more than the other things. So let's take a look. Again, it's only been 24 hours, but I need to add the other trays back on these, and I really don't want to wait anymore. And since I know how much the worms like citrus, guys, you're like children. I do videos and you go kooky. Huh? Who's guilty? Let me see. Raise your hand if you're guilty. Oh, look out the door. There's something out there to bark at. Back to the video. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look. It's been actually 23 hours because I did this right after feeding my dogs yesterday, and I just fed my dogs. So let's just take the cover off here. The first, no worms on the cover, which is good. And in yesterday's video, I put a piece of newspaper over the spot where I put the clementine, which was directly in the center. So beyond that, hey buddy, beyond that, we're gonna just look around just to see overall health and movement activity. I don't expect to see very many at the top because they've got lots of really good food down low. What I do expect to see is worms everywhere. There's one of my big guys. Hey, big guy. And we've got worms here that are eating something. That's a piece of the pear. Let them do their thing there. Okay, so right in the center, it was directly in the center, I buried a half of a clementine. So I'm gonna just try to get to that. Try to make this a little shorter than yesterday's video. I'm seeing worms around the top of it, which is a pretty good sign. They're not being scared off by it. And there's a lot of worms collecting in this area. So what I'm going to do here, since you can obviously see they're in the perimeter, they're not offended by the citrus, I'm just going to pick it up and going to see what's directly beneath it. Okay, there we go. There's the clementine. There's worms in it. I can't believe how many of the pulp cells they have eaten. Gizmo, no, not yours. And as you can see where I just pulled it up from, there's quite a clump of worms. No, not an astronomical amount, but it's only been 23 hours. There's a banana, a pear, and an avocado in here. So that goes to show you now, if you look at yesterday's video, you'll see how full this clementine was. It was fresh, just cut in half. And it looks like they go in and they break open the little pulp capsules, whatever that word might be. The seed is still in there. I'm going to put this back down. Close this up. I'll close that in a minute. I want to hop over to the other one and do the same. So I'm going to take the cover off. Again, look at it. Oh, we have one worm up there, but I'm not concerned about that. It's certainly not showing signs of mass escape or attempted escape. Oh, sorry, little guy. I threw you on the floor. No, I think we all do that. Okay. So again, all around there's different types of food. And I do things a little different. I don't feed just in the corners or in one spot. For this clementine I did just so I could follow up and show you the response. But typically I break the food up into pieces. I don't blend it. I often freeze it, but not 100% of the time. Depends what it is. And then I scatter it throughout the bin. I just have found that overall the bin breaks down quicker if the food is scattered throughout and there's a little bit of worms all over versus feeding them in just a couple of corners or something. Yes, when I'm ready to finish up the bin, I'll feed it to one side to try to draw them over, but I'm not even quite sure what this is that they're eating here. Well, that's just newspaper. But clearly there's something down here. There's always something somewhere. Ah, avocado pit. With, of course, it's cracking open and worms get in there, which is how I have these two, if you can see them, avocado trees growing here. Thank you, worms. No, I don't think in Connecticut they'll ever grow to anything I can keep outside. But it's fun trying. Okay, so and dig in here and find the clementine. Oh, there we go. Again, you can see there's worms all around it, so they're certainly not being driven away by the citrus smell or acidity or any other factor. And right next to it is a piece of the pear, so they can go there. I'm going to do the same thing. Sorry, my camera skills really suck. I'm not a photographer. Just pick it up, and there we have it. As you can see, worms are in it. They have eaten a lot of it just overnight. And right below it are the worms that have been doing their job. And again, there's lots of other food in here. Here's part of an apple, and you can obviously see there's worms there. And there's more avocado pits. I don't know. Me and the worms, we kind of fight over the avocados, I think. And, well, more avocado. So you can see there's lots of food sources, lots of choices, and the clementine I put in about 23 hours ago has drawn a crowd in both bins. So I'm just trying to show that citrus, at least in this case clementine, doesn't kill your worms. They're not offended by it. It doesn't drive them into a mass frenzy to escape. They like it, they enjoy it, and it's just another viable food source for them. So if you have one that's rotting or too sour or whatever, you just don't want it, your worms will happily eat it. Till next time.